Well, I mean, she did talk about things. You know, I know that you get attacked pretty much, as I've said, and I'll say it with the mob and the media watching, because they lied about Russia. We now know that the FBI knew from the subsource of Christopher Steele that that dossier was phony. We know that Hillary Clinton's, even the New York Times now recognized that her bought and paid for Russian dossier was likely Russian disinformation from the beginning. But my question is more about her attack on Biden on the issue of race. And, you know, the reality is he did praise the guy that filibustered the Civil Rights Act. Imagine if you'd done that. Biden did support the anti-busing amendment of Robert Byrd. And by the way, he did say he worried his children would grow up in a racial jungle, referring to school and integration. And he did, you know, use the comment more recently, you ain't black and poor kids are just as smart as white kids. And in a previous campaign, they're going to put you all back in chains and you can't go to a Dunkin' Donuts or a 7-Eleven unless you have a slight Indian accent. And what he said about even Barack Obama, clean and bright and articulate, and that's storybook. And man, he likes to say the words, come on, man, come on, man. Your reaction to her attacks on him on the issue of race?
Well, first of all, what you said about Russia, the New York Times is fake reporting. It's a fake newspaper as far as I'm concerned. And Washington Post likewise. I always try and figure out which is worse. And then you have CNN and, frankly, ABC, CBS, NBC. But you have some good ones in between. Locals are great. Locals we do great in. I couldn't possibly be here. And on social media, does anybody do better in terms of people watching and the importance of social media so we get the word out? But, you know, the sad thing is you have so many incredibly talented writers, journalists, frankly, including yourself, because I consider you really a journalist to the largest extent, the job you've done, because you got the Russia hoax correct. And your people that came on that show night after night, including, by the way, our great congressmen and senators. You had John Kennedy on tonight. You have a lot of them on. But a lot of people got it right, and a lot of our Congress and Senate got it right. And they got it wrong, and they got Pulitzer Prizes. The Pulitzer Prize is worthless as far as I'm concerned, because when you have the Maggie Habermans getting a Pulitzer Prize and she got it all wrong, I haven't spoken to her in forever. She's like my biographer, like she knows everything about me. She knows nothing about me. And they talk about they have sources. They don't have sources. They're made up. They make them up in their mind. They have no sources. I know when there are sources. But if you look at the Times and I guess the Washington Post, they got Pulitzer Prizes, and they were totally wrong. And they got them, I guess, before the end result. And there was no collusion, and now this thing turns out to be a total hoax. And now it finds out that we caught Obama, Biden. That's why I didn't think that Susan Rice could get it, because she's part of this whole illegal thing that happened, which is one of the worst, perhaps the worst, political scandal in the history of our country. And they got caught. Now let's see what happens. But they're caught red-handed. And but these writers, the writers got Pulitzer Prizes. And that shows you a Pulitzer Prize is worthless. And frankly, you ought to start a petition to return the Pulitzer Prize, because they were all wrong. They were wrong on the whole subject of Russia. It was made up, fabricated. It was a crime that was committed. And you look at Hillary Clinton, where she paid for the fake dossier, and now the dossier is proven to be totally fake. It's a disgrace what happened, and no other president should have to go through it, Sean.
Mr. President, they got it all wrong, and they're listening to you tonight. They were wrong. There was no evidence of any Trump-Russia collusion. We now know in January of 2017, the subsource said, yeah, none of this is true. This is bar talk. They never went after Hillary for her subpoenaed emails that were deleted and bleach bit and hammers. They never went after what turned out to be premeditated fraud on a FISA court. It says on the top of a FISA application, verified. Not only was it not verified, it was unverifiable, and they were warned not to use it on numerous occasions. And definitively by January of 2017, they ignored her bought and paid for dirty Russian, now debunked dossier. They ignored the biggest abuse of power corruption scandal in history, which then brings us to your comments yesterday about where we are. There's two issues that I would like to see as somebody that is a talk show host, and that does include straight journalism, opinion, and, yeah, investigative journalism that the media mob doesn't do. I'd like to know, number one, before any voting takes place, see you debate Joe Biden. You've invited him. And I'd also like to have resolved what happened in 2016 before the American people vote in 2020. We haven't gotten there yet. We're waiting for any Durham action that might happen. Your thoughts on both?
Well, I hope it goes quickly, but this is the greatest political crime, the worst political crime, I think, in the history of our country. And I hope that they do it properly, because this had to do with Obama and Biden, as well as Brennan and Comey and Clapper. And you go down to Lisa Page and her lover, Peter Strzok, and McCabe. But you look at all of these people, and they're all implicated. Now we're going to find out. Let me tell you, the Democrats play a much dirtier game than the Republicans, and I say that in a very negative way. It's a disgrace. They play a much dirtier game. They'll impeach you over a phone call that was perfect. Nothing like that's ever happened before. They impeached me over a phone call that was absolutely perfect. You couldn't have made a better phone call. There was nothing done wrong with that phone call. And they play a much dirtier game, a much tougher game than the Republicans. The Republicans, fortunately, much better policy, but they ought to get tougher. The Republicans have to get tougher. And this whole thing with this mail-in ballot, that's a rigged election waiting to happen. It's rigged, and everyone knows it, because you can't send out 60 million mail-in ballots to everybody who knows who's getting them. The mailmen are going to get them, and people are going to just grab batches of them. And you talk about China and Russia, they'll be grabbing plenty of them. It's a disaster. It's a rigged election waiting to happen. And it's just common sense. You wouldn't even have to know anything about politics or elections. It's common sense. And an absentee ballot's okay, where you send in for a ballot, they go through a process, and they send it to you, and then you send it. It's fine. But these mail-in ballots, where they send millions of them all over the country, it's going to be a rigged election. And this country shouldn't allow it. The courts have to step in. We're in many different courts right now. If the courts don't step in, the federal courts, you'll never know who won the election. Just like in New York, they had an election with Carolyn Maloney, a third-rate congresswoman that I've known for a long time. Third rate. Well, she won, but they have no idea where the ballots are. Where are the ballots? Many missing ballots. Her opponent is having a fit. But they declared that because it was so embarrassing. Then you look at Paterson, New Jersey. They declared her the winner because it was so embarrassing. You look at then Paterson, New Jersey. Look at what happened there. Look at what just happened in Virginia, where they sent in 500,000 applications, and most of them are to wrong people. They sent some to dogs. They sent 2 to cats. They sent people that passed away, dead people. They were sent to dead people, and 500,000 applications. This is crazy what we're doing. And it's not a question of anything else. It can't work. It hasn't worked in little districts, small little defined districts. They can't do it. And it's an impossibility. Plus, the post office isn't set up for this. The post office is not set up for millions. When you look at what they did in Nevada, and take a look where they're sending millions of ballots, and you don't have to have a confirmed signature. There's nothing to say that that person signed it. It's going to be catastrophic corruption.
You know, you mentioned a lot there, and you know, when I went to the 2016 Democratic Convention, amazing, I needed a photo ID to get in. Just saying. You also mentioned, you know, the media ignored Joe Biden on tape. You're not getting $1 billion taxpayer dollars unless you fire the prosecutor investigating my son, who goes on GMA and said he had no experience. Let me move on to another topic, though, and that is.
And by the way, we should have voter ID, John. We should have voter ID.
You needed to get into the Democratic Convention.
They don't want it because it's too. And you're right. To get into the Democratic Convention, you need ID. But to vote, they don't want voter ID. What does that tell you?
Let's ask about law and order, which is now on the ballot. You see you mentioned New York City. You see the shootings, 40, 50, 60, 70 shot in Chicago every weekend. Portland, Seattle. Portland now, what, day 74 of anarchy? You've offered all of these big cities help, all of these mayors. The one thing they all have in common, they've been run by liberal Democratic mayors for decades and liberal Democratic governors for decades. And now, security and safety. Now, some people would argue, including me, that if you can't, that is the #1 job of government. We had a 1-year-old child killed in a stroller in New York in a park. A beautiful 7-year-old girl killed in Chicago in her grandmother's backyard on 4th of July weekend. An 8-year-old beautiful girl killed in Atlanta when her mom made a wrong turn into the chop zone there. You watched my interview with Horace Lorenzo Anderson Sr. He lost his 19-year-old son in the summer of Love Zone when the mayor out there allowed the anarchists to take over city blocks and police precincts. We now know about Kamala Harris's view. I mentioned it during my opening monologue. Joe did. He's trying to walk it back, say the police then become the enemy, and he's all for reallocating funds away from the police. And Kamala Harris praised the LAPD for the cuts in that city, $1 billion cut in New York, and it's become a disaster. Your reaction to this whole defund the police effort madness that's going on in the country?
Well, it's ridiculous, and we should do the opposite of defunding. We should help the police more. They have been taken, their guts have been taken out, and it's very sad. Now, we've talked to the governor. If you look at Oregon and you look at what's going on out there, we're willing to help. You know, they're supposed to call and say, please send help. But, you know, honestly, they have 10,000 great law enforcement people there. Really, they can take care of it themselves, but we'd be glad to send in the National Guard and solve the problem like we did in Minneapolis. We solved that problem in 1 hour after they arrived. We can do it in Portland so easy. We can do it in Chicago. A little more difficult. It's a different kind of a problem. One is anarchists, and the other are people that go around indiscriminately shooting everyone and themselves. But we can solve the problems if they ask. They have to ask. We're ready, willing, and able. We went to Portland to save the courthouse, if you can believe it, an expensive courthouse, a beautiful courthouse. It was going to be destroyed. It was going to be set on fire, and the mayor wasn't saving it, and the governor of the state wasn't going to save it. So we sent Homeland Security, 300 people, and it was very easy for them. They could have marched forward. They're not allowed to do that. They have very strong restrictions, unfortunately, and they surrounded it and they protected it, and it's fine. And they're still there, by the way. The mayor likes to say they're still there. They're there to protect the courthouse. It's not for them to do anything beyond that. They're not allowed to. But we can have the National Guard go in and clean out Portland in a matter of hours, less than hours. But they have to ask us for that. And they don't want to ask, and it's not because they're too proud. It's because they truly don't have a clue as to what's happening.
Mr. President, I listened to the new Green Deal promises, and everything's free. Free government, free pre-K through college education, student loan forgiveness, guaranteed government job, guaranteed government wage, guaranteed government vacation, guaranteed government healthy food, guaranteed government health care. Kamala wouldn't even give you the choice of a private plan. Biden and Obama, they had 8 years. They never set a single record of low unemployment for African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, women in the workplace, youth unemployment, African American youth unemployment. They had 8 years to do criminal justice reform. They didn't do it. You did. They had 8 years to do police reform. They didn't do that either. You did that. And you also committed the most amount of money per year for the longest period of time for historically black colleges. Why did your policy set records, and why did they end up after 8 years? We had 13 million more Americans on food stamps, 8 million more in poverty, and the lowest labor participation rate since the 70s. Why didn't their economic plan work, and why is yours working, considering this is going to be the biggest choice election, I would argue, in history?
So one reason is they didn't care. They never even tried to get criminal justice reform, which is a big deal. and I got it, and nobody else was able to get it, and I don't think anybody else could have gotten it. And they never really tried. They never really helped the black colleges and universities. They call them historically black colleges and universities. They never helped. And these wonderful people, like 40 people, 42 people would come up, the heads of each college. And after 2 years of seeing them, I say, why do you people keep coming back? Why are you continuing to come back? Well, we have to come back and ask for money. I said, every year you have to ask for money? Every year? That's terrible. And one man said something, a wonderful guy in charge of one of the colleges, the head person at one of these really good colleges said to me, yeah, they make us feel like beggars because every year they make us come back for money. And you've been doing this for years? They said, yes, sir, we've been doing this for years. I said, we have to give you long-term financing, and we have to give you a number that's higher than you're asking for. And I did that. And Obama could have done that, too, but he didn't. He could have done that, and he could have possibly at least tried criminal justice reform. He didn't even try. I've done more for the black community than any other president other than perhaps Abraham Lincoln. And I will tell you, when you look at what we did with Tim Scott on opportunity zones, it's incredible. The jobs that we're producing for African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, but the jobs that we're producing, Tim Scott's incredible. The jobs that we're producing, it was an idea that Tim had, and we took it and we made it into an incredible thing where jobs are being done and areas that haven't been invested in decades are being brought back. It's an incredible thing to see. And we did these things, and Obama didn't do it. And this mostly helps the minority communities, the black community. It's incredible what's happened. It's actually incredible, some of the things we've done. And we have tremendous African-American support. I'll tell you that, Sean. Tremendous. We have tremendous Hispanic support. And you know who likes the wall the best of all and who likes the border safety the best of all? The Hispanic, because they understand the border better than anybody. And they understand the bad people that can come in through the border, and they don't want them in our country. And the Hispanic appreciate more than anybody else what I've been able to do at our southern border.
Mr. President, we've had the worst pandemic since 1918, the invisible enemy, as you call it. I have noticed in Arizona, Texas, and Florida, it looks like the flattening of the curve. If the pattern holds, you'll see, I know the death rate's gone up, then it will drop, and then it will drop precipitously if the pattern held in the Northeast and elsewhere. My question to you is, you know, we're now in the final phase of human trials for a vaccine. Where are we? When do you expect the vaccine? You've talked about distribution. Tell us about that in the 2 minutes we have left. Tell us about where we are with therapeutics.
So the therapeutics are great. We could have something very soon, and that's where you'd go and give a transfusion or a shot in hospitals, and people are going to come out, and they're going to walk out pretty soon after that, and they're going to be in great shape. And we're having a tremendous success with that, and you'll be hearing about that soon. And the vaccines by the end of the year, and maybe before that, maybe substantially before that, we're having tremendous success. We're in stage 3 trials already. The previous administration or any other administration could have never been there. We're doing more testing than any country in the world by far. And because of that, we'll have more cases. We're testing people, we have more cases. If you don't test, you don't have cases. And that's called fake news gold, because they say cases, that's all they say is talk about cases. But what we're doing is the greatest testing anywhere in the world, the most and the best quality. And we're doing very well with it. All of these incredible people, they get very little credit. All of the ventilators, we're now making ventilators for everybody in the world. We have all we can use, and it's hard to make and complicated and big and expensive, but we're making them and distributing them all over the world. We've done a great job, and it's moving along. We're going to have the vaccine soon, and we're going to have therapeutics very soon.
It's a scary thing, and you know, you rightly point out that this shouldn't have happened, and the world would have helped out China had they only asked. You know, it's sad that they put a travel ban from Wuhan province to China, and you couldn't fly from China to Wuhan, but they left it open to the world. Mr. President, you've been very generous with your time. We're 84 days to go, and we've got, now we have, okay, it's you and Governor Pence, well, Vice President Pence, former governor, and Kamala Harris and Joe will watch closely. I appreciate you being with us, sir, and we'll continue to update people, and thank you. Whenever you can join us, we love having you on the program. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Sean. Thank you very much.